Senator Ronan Mullin has warned that the government's vague hate crime bill will criminalise ordinary people. A top King's Counsel has given a scathing assessment of Scottish Government plans for a new conversion therapy law. And a Green Party spokesman sacked for his gender-critical beliefs has won his case for discrimination at tribunal. Hello. Senator Ronan Mullin has warned that Ireland's hate crime bill could criminalise ordinary people for expressing unpopular views. The proposals include a new offence of inciting violence or hatred against others based on their protected characteristics, which carries a possible 5-year prison sentence. Hatred is not defined in the bill. Speaking on The Tonight Show, the independent senator warned the legislation currently being considered by the Seanad is far too broad and lacks clarity in key areas, which could lead to people censoring themselves for fear of prosecution.
Well, first of all, you have the remarkable fact that in a piece of criminal legislation, the central core of it, and we are talking about the hate speech aspect of this legislation more than the hate crimes dimension of the bill, which the Minister mentioned earlier. But at the central core of it, and at a time when there's major controversy around a range of issues, the gender wars and so on, that hatred is to be undefined. And that is remarkable because people are entitled to clarity, especially in this day and age, about what they can say and what they can't, because there's a great push on to curtail people's freedom of expression, particularly around controversial areas such as gender, as I mentioned.
Scottish Government plans for a new law on so-called conversion therapy have been dismissed in a withering legal opinion for the Christian Institute. Leading human rights lawyer Aidan O'Neill KC described proposals to outlaw conversion practices as jellyfish legislation, impossible to grasp and containing a sting in the tail in the form of criminal sanction of up to 7 years and unlimited fines. If passed, this legislation would criminalise parents who sought to exercise any form of parental authority or guidance in relation to their children, as regards issues around sexuality and gender, which conflicted with the official position now adopted by the state. He also warned it would have a chilling effect on the ability of churches to teach and preach on any matters relating to sexuality and/or gender. Responding to Mr O'Neill's advice, the CI's Deputy Director, Simon Calvert, encouraged Christians to speak out against the proposals.
Well, the Scottish Government has been working on these proposals for a conversion therapy ban for over 2 years. And it just goes to show that no matter how carefully you craft it, a ban on conversion therapy is a ban on ordinary innocent speech. It's not a ban on abuse because that's already illegal, and the activists want it to be a ban on ordinary innocent speech. And Aidan O'Neill has drawn attention to this in this pretty dramatic legal advice. So we can be thankful that it has been heavily picked up by the Scottish press, and we must pray that it emboldens many people in Scotland to respond to the consultation which the government is holding, which runs up to the 2nd of April.
NHS England has ditched an LGBT badge scheme which pushed hospitals to erase sex-specific language. Since 2021, activist groups such as Stonewall and the LGBT Foundation have rated hospitals gold, silver or bronze based on their promotion of gender ideology. But the NHS has now shut down the scheme at 77 trusts due to a lack of funding after the Department of Health and Social Care decided it was no longer value for money. Helen Joyce of women's group Sex Matters welcomed the decision. The end of the NHS Rainbow Badge scheme is a huge step towards rooting trans activism out of our public institutions. The news should be a huge relief to NHS staff and patients, since the Rainbow Badge harmed women's rights by prioritising trans identities over sex-based rights. And finally, an employment tribunal in England has found that a member of the Green Party was subjected to unlawful discrimination for his gender-critical beliefs. Dr. Shahrar Ali was sacked as a party spokesman following complaints by activists over his criticism of radical gender ideology. However, Tribunal Judge Stephen Hellman ruled that the Green Party had acted in a discriminatory way because of Dr. Ali's protected belief under the Equality Act in the reality of biological sex, and that his removal was procedurally unfair. Dr. Ali welcomed the judgment as a defence of genuine political debate on matters of great importance without fear of disproportionate consequence. Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all of our stories plus much more, visit our website at the.ci. Until next time, goodbye.